So what is going on, guys? It's Triple G here with another Godfall video, and in today's video we're going to be going through the build and the gear that you get in the Challenger Edition and what to expect, and then how you build upon that. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Otherwise, let's get straight into this video. So you've powered up Godfall for the first time, gone through this tutorial or skipped the tutorial, and you're jumping straight into endgame. You've pushed the button that says let's get straight into the endgame, and it's told you that it's going to give you loads of skill points and loads of gear. So let's talk about what that's going to look like. So when you go into the character screen, you will see that you will only have one weapon actually on you right now. But when you go into those items, you will see you'll have a ton of other weapons. Now, some of these will be under level, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But you should have at least one item for each slot at level 50, varying in colors all the way up to purple. Now, don't worry that you don't have any legendaries right now. We're going to talk about how you get legendaries later, and it's going to be fantastic. So the first simple steps is obviously to put the weapons in and everything into those slots. Now, weapons and items that go in those slots will have two standard perks that are on there. These can be re-rolled at a later date. It's worth making note about what you have at the moment, but I wouldn't be too precious about them until we move into the actual farmable gear that we get later on in the endgame activities. The first screen should be relatively simple. Then moving on to augments. Now, augments are actually really important when playing Godfall. Now, when you first jump into the augment screen, you're tempted to just throw everything in anywhere. You'll see on the screen that you have a few items that have a color to them, and then some that are unique and just whited out. The ones in the whited out areas, you can put any mod in you like, but the colored needs to match up to the colored augments that you have been provided. Now, the ones that you have been provided are okay, and you will throw them in there, but I can't emphasize enough how important it is once you start building your build to pay attention to the augment screen, because some of these augments have a ton of damage associated with them when they're put in the correct place, and they also have some pretty cool unique abilities. Then when you look at the skill point screen, you'll see that you've already had some pre-selected. Feel free to move these around if you want to, if you've played Godfall before, or if you're a new player but you kind of know a little bit about Godfall. But I'd recommend that you at least keep them as they are to start with, as we're going to be building new skill points, and as you build your knowledge, you're going to get stronger at where you actually put those points. Finally, as you look at the resource screen, you will see that the Challenger Edition comes with a ton of resource here. You probably won't know what all of this means right now, but essentially what this means is giving you materials to make some upgrades and to access the endgame for at least a limited amount of time until you can grind some more resources to keep that kind of motion going. So with that all out the way, you've jumped in, you've had a bit of a slash and grash, and you've killed some guys, and now you're thinking, well, okay, how do I build on this? How do I get my hands on that legendary weapons and all the things like that? So the first thing I would recommend doing is doing the dream stones. These dream stones will go all the way up to level 60, and every time you do one of these, you will get some nice resources, and you will also get more skill points, which means more damage. And while you're doing it, you do have a chance to drop legendary weapons as well. Then when you move on to the different types of end games like Tower of Trials and Lightbringer update, you will have the best equipment and the most amount of skill points you can to take on that more challenging content. To give you a brief sneak peek of what that could look like, here is my bleed build that I use for Godfall right now with full legendary equipment. And as you can see here, it's absolutely decimating the Ascendant Tower of Trials. So again, this is really important for making sure you have the right legendaries, playing into those synergies that you have played into before, and farming for the right augments in the activities that we've previously mentioned. Once you have all of that, you will have an absolute world destroyer of a character. Guys, that's it for today's video. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel or join us over on Twitch. We stream 5 times a week, and otherwise, I'll catch you on the flip.